Brak the Yahweh, Brak the Yahweh call Halayim, La Yahweh Bashim Yahweh call Halayim, La Yahweh Bashim Yahweh giving all praise to the Most High Yahweh, in the name of His Son Yahweh. Peace and blessings be upon the elected Israel out there. Shalom Barakim, Lavakar Shayasha Allah Bashim Rachakodash. Peace and blessings be upon you in the name of the Holy Spirit, and double honors to our elders and apostles, known as Great Millstone in these times, all right? And that's Sheni Kabah, Gawala Wakwab, Zakwanim Nawa, Wa Hashalayakim Nawa, Ba'aith. All right, so as you can see from the title, it says the Pasach is serious. You need to examine yourself, all right? I know around this time, just like a lot of Akim that are, consciously aware of what times we in, it's very, sometimes it can be nerve-wracking, which is a good thing. If you're a little nervous, if it's your first Pasach, or if it's not your first Pasach, you're in the right spirit if you feel like that, all right? Because this is a serious feast. You got your feasts where you can celebrate, like Hanukkah and what have you, but then you have your feasts that are solemn assemblies and very serious. Like you got your, the Day of Atonement is another serious one, all right? So I just got a couple precepts here. This is not going to be long. Just want to stress the point of how serious this is. This ain't no game. This ain't no thing to be playing with. Just like these other Israelite sects like IUIC, ISUPK, they treat it very lightly. All right, and it's not lightly considering the fact of how we're celebrating the Passover in these times. All right, so let me read this first. All right, this one is more so for the heads. All right, the first, the 1 through 4 in command, however big the camp is. All right, this is one thing I always keep in mind. Sirach 32:1 to set the tone. If thou be made the master of a feast, lift not thyself up, but be among them as one of the rest. Take diligent care for them, and so sit down. All right, so like I said, even though we're at the head of these things, all right, we're not supposed to be high-minded. All right, we're supposed to be ministers and taking care of the flock, not ruling like tyrants. All right, because a lot of these feasts, like I said, Pasach is very serious. Verse 2, it says, and when thou hast done all thy office, take thy place, that thou mayest be merry with them and receive crown for thy well ordering of the feast. Right, so that's another thing. This has to be well ordered. I like, me personally here in this area, if there's Akim that have been listening all throughout the winter on the outside, not in the fold yet, I like to wait to bring them in till after the Pasach. That's just me. You know what I mean? And I don't know, that's just a good rule of thumb in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't have guys come in right before the Pasach and they're not really tried, they're not really tested. All right, you can't just be inviting anybody to the Pasach, somebody who just comes to listen and they may seem sincere. No, they have to be proven before they partake of the Pasach. All right, because it's a very serious feast, and every time it comes around, I always examine myself thoroughly to make sure that I'm ordering the feast right. All right, that all the Akim's minds are right before going into it. Make sure they know the do's and the don'ts of the feast. And also to make sure that Akim are rehearsing the feast throughout the year. You don't just wait 2 or 3 weeks before the Pasach starts to practice the Sabbath service. Really, you should be practicing it, if not every week, every other week, at least once a month with the camp. You know what I'm saying? Like, brothers should be getting together and rehearsing the Pasach, so when it comes through, it can run smoothly. All right, because it's serious and it's a quick feast. It's not something where you linger around. All right, you got to put your mindset of what the hell was going on back in the time of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? They weren't. That's the whole reason of it being called unleavened bread. They didn't have time to bake their bread because some serious shit was about to go down. All right, so that was Sirach. Now let me get these precepts here. Let me get this one in Exodus. I want to get a shalom to all the Akim that are tuning in on the comment board, man. Shalom to the Bakari Mashapaka, the elect family. All right, this is Exodus 12:21. Exodus 12:21. It says, then Moses, or then Mashah, called for the elders of Yasha Allah and said unto them, draw out and take you lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out of the door of his house until morning. Verse 23. For the Lord Yahweh will pass through the mist, the Slakia will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and the 2 side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come into your house. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance for thee to thy sons. And that's the most serious part of this whole thing. All right, because that blood represents the blood of Yahweh Shai, man. All right, he didn't die for no reason, man. He died so that we could be covered. This is Ephesians 2. Yeah, Ephesians 2 and 11. Wherefore remember that you being in time past Gentiles in the flesh. Right, we weren't keeping the Pasach. We were keeping Christmas, fucking Easter, all this madness. You know, we were keeping so-called holy days or holidays that weren't serious at all. They're actually laughable. And then they piss you off when you really think about it. All right, but now we were Gentiles in the flesh. So now it says, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called circumcision in the flesh made by hands. That at the time you were taught, you were without Yahweh Shai, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants and the promise, having no hope without the power in the world. But now in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, ye are sometimes or far off or made nigh by the blood of Hamashiach. All right, so when that blood, the blood being striken over the doorpost and on the lintels and on the side, so that the destroyer won't come and smite you, that blood is representing the blood of Yahweh Shai that was shed for the remissions of sins for the elect of Israel, man. All right, that's what that's speaking of. All right, now if you don't want to come up under that blood, if that's what you don't want to believe, then that's fine. May Yahweh Shai send a destroyer and smite you from among the congregation for not adhering. All right, all reverence and praise goes to Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai Baruch HaKadash. All right, now there's damnation unto those who don't take this thing serious. All right, if you don't take it serious, condemnation awaits you. All right, and every time during the Pasach, every single year since I've been in this truth, all right, there have been guys that either fall out right before or right after, you know, or just start bugging out. You know, you can see God, the countenance of men going into before it and going after. All right, so this is 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 23. It says, for I have received the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahweh Shai, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. All right, and when he had given thanks, he brake it. It's talking about the Pasach during the Passover, and said, take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. Right, so Yahweh Shai was speaking in the spiritual sense. All right, because we all represent the body, all right, of Yahweh Shai. After the same manner also he took the cup, which he supped, said, this cup is the new covenant in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink in remembrance. So as often as we come together and we break bread, we're supposed to do that in remembrance of Yahweh Shai, because really every time we get up with Akim, it's like having a piece of the kingdom of heaven. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is within us. All right, so whenever we fellowship, all right, and we bring forth these sacrifices and offerings, all right, we have to do it in remembrance of Yahweh Shai. And again, he said that it's the New Testament of his blood, which represents the blood that's being spread across the doorposts, coming up in a couple days here at evening. All right, so verse 26, it says, for as often as ye eat this blood and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. All right, verse 27, wherefore whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily, meaning you're not taking it serious, or are you making light of it, making a joke out of everything, shall be guilty of the body of the blood of Yahweh Shai. Right, because remember back in Exodus 12:23, it says, for the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians, smite America, all right, and wherever Jacob scattered, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the 2 sides, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come into your house to smite you. All right, and that destroyer was Yahweh Shai back in those times, if you can receive it. And if you can't, The hell with you, man. Be a grown-ass man and go on with your day, with your business. All right? Stop tuning in. All right? If I don't believe in something and I don't adhere to something, I'm not going to waste my fucking time. All right? But those who are serious-minded, all right, who this is for, all right, you're supposed to take this serious, man. Going into the Pasach, you had to be serious-minded, examine yourself. Where are you weak at spiritually? And that's what you need to be asking for the Lord to strengthen you. All right, so you don't get weak, you don't fall out, you don't go back into the world, start celebrating holidays like Christmas, buying birthday presents and shit. You know what I'm saying? And we have high holy days. 1 Corinthians 11 and 27. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the blood of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself. All right. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. And that's the whole point. We have to discern the Lord's body, the seriousness of what he went through, or why the old covenant was done away with. Why did that happen? Put yourself in that mindset. Understand the magnitude of what he did for us, and that will keep you humble. That will keep you on a self-examination portal throughout this season that we're in, the season of the Pasach. All right, now the last scripture I want to get, just to instill some fear, which always instills fear in me, all right, is about the sifting, man, because the Lord always sifts out the kernels around this time. Amos 9 and 9. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All right. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. So yeah, you have a lot of our people that aren't keeping the Pasach. They say, well, we don't have to do that. That's the old law. But at the same time, they're going to get mad at you for not keeping Easter. Well, those people are going to be destroyed, specifically the 2/3, man. They're going to get tortured and put to damnation, man. Put to death by the destroyer. We're in the times where the destroyer is coming through to destroy and smite the Egyptians, man. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are in league with America, you're the Egyptians in these times, all right? This is the time of the Pasach, and it's very, very, very serious. All right, so I hope that instilled some fear in the spirit of self-examination into the elect. I hope some edification came out of this. I got to get back to the plantation, but the spirit prompted me to do this because I was watching the Zaquan Kasap in the camp, and he was going into the same thing, man. You know, what does this Pasach, what is this Passover, what does the Pasach really mean, you know? What is it all about? It's about being serious. It's about fasting. It's about praying. It's about ordering the feast right, knowing who you're doing the work with, all right, caring for the flock, all right, and just in general, like I said, being serious, man, self-examining yourself, which I say that for myself first, and then I send that admonishment out to the elect. All right, so with that, I want to say, call halayim la Yahweh b'Shmi Awashai, b'Ashem HaKadash, all praise to the Most High, in the name of the Son. Peace and blessings be upon the elect of Israel out there, and of course, double honors to our elders and apostles, known as great millstone in these times. I pray Yahweh b'Shmi Awashai keeps all the Akim safe in this season of Pasach, and remember to stay serious and keep self-examining yourself, all right? Shalom.